It is Juneteenth, and we are at the East DeKalb Senior Center at Bruce Street, speaking about the freedom to learn with former students of the first Black public school in DeKalb County known as Lithonia Negro School, and later called Bruce Street School.
My name is Elaine Smith Harper.
My name is Devlin Sanders Hollow.
My name is Olitha McGuire Reed. I'm a native of Lithonia.
I'm Dr. Ina Birdsong Wise.
My name is Vernell Haskell Starks.
Through them, we gain insight of what the freedom of education has meant to so many.
Hi, I'm Ravonda Cosby, the Executive Director of the Arabian Mountain Heritage Area Alliance. We are the National Park Service's nonprofit partner here in Georgia. And today we put a specific focus on capturing history by recording oral stories of those people that attended this school, that came out of this community. And why did we focus on it this week? Because in this country for the first time and around the world, Juneteenth is going to be celebrated as a national holiday. So today's focus was primarily to culminate around the celebration of Juneteenth, but to specifically look at the freedoms African Americans had access to with a quality education. And there was no better place to come to than Bruce Street.
I started Bruce Street when I was 5 years old, even though DeKalb County did not have kindergartens, especially for, as far as I know, the Black schools. And so the teachers were kind enough, if they had space in the classroom, to allow the younger children to come in. So I entered at 5 and learned right along with the rest of the children. And so the next year, I didn't quite understand why I had to repeat it when the rest of my classmates were going on to second grade. But still, I came back to first grade again and was kind of a star student at that time. So that was an advantage of starting early.
For myself, I attended Bruce Street from first grade up to 10th grade. And with that, where I lived was next to, or almost next to, Lithonia High School, which was a white school. And I didn't go there. We lived across the tracks, as they call it. And my neighborhood was Black and white back in that time. And my dad and some other people in the community thought, okay, well, why are we taking our kids over to Bruce Street when we could take our kids right here to Lithonia High School, which was in the neighborhood, walking distance from my house. So I went to Lithonia in the 11th and 12th grade. I graduated from Lithonia High. And I was in the first class that graduated Blacks at Lithonia High.
The desire to learn was further amplified by different challenges each student overcame to complete school or even make it there.
We walked past the white school. Their school bus picked up kids who didn't live too far from us, but their school was closer than ours. And they would pass by us in the morning and yell racial slurs out the window, hey, you know. And as we walked, and I can still remember the crunching of the ice on the ground, which is not something, I don't even see that now. But back in those days when we were walking, and it was all dirt roads for the most part back in our neighborhood. And you would just see the ice kind of standing up, and we would be crunching it, and our little feet were like solid bricks. When we got to school, we would have to let our feet thaw out. That's how cold it was during the winter. Same thing when it rained. There were many days when I arrived at school soaking wet, or when I got home, I was soaking wet from having been rained on. Now, by the time, and I can't remember exactly when it was, but we did start getting a school bus that came into our neighborhood. And, but when I started off, especially as a small child, I did not. I had to walk just like all my brothers.
We had this gentleman that would make a fire for us at the end of the road so that we could keep warm until the bus came. And we would get the bus and we would come to school. And it was exciting to ride the bus. We would pass by other schools. Of course, they were not Black schools, but we couldn't go to those schools. That's why we had to be bused. So it was important to me to be able to go into a school building, but it was not the building itself because we had barracks. We had the first, second, third grade, and the fourth grade in the barracks. And then when we got into the fifth grade, we would come over to the ruins area now in the fifth grade, and that's where we would go. We had teachers at that time was very interested in us learning. They were very inspiring to us to get us to know that we needed an education because with that education, you can get places.
I hadn't finished high school when I got married. So I walked the streets of Bruce Street, all over the community, and got enough names to get a night school started here. And I was the first one finished.
In spite of racism, Jim Crow, basic hate, and oppression, they were still able to stand tall, celebrate life, and create lasting memories at Bruce Street.
The most important thing I remember was stunt night. All the kids, all the community, the whole community came to stunt night. And it was like the kids, the classes would get together and do little skits and plays and stuff. And my sister, Gwen again, she was in the stunt night. And it was this big old apple tree. And it was this bird in this apple tree. And she was a butterfly. And she wanted to get in the apple tree. But she couldn't get to the top of the apple tree because she kept falling on her knees. So the birdie said, and this is how the song went, a little bird in an apple tree was singing a pretty song to me. I tried and I tried to climb that tree, but I kept falling on my knee. The birdie said, lift your wings like me. I did, and I flew up in the apple tree. And a star was born in laughter at Bruce Street.
Though times are currently different, there is still an unmistakable value around having access to knowledge and the ability to receive an education.
Everybody may not be college material, but there are plenty of trades out there that you can get into. And if you're taking a trade, get into that trade. College is good. I'm not against college. But some people, like my son, he went into college. He had one major. He came out. He didn't even do that. So some things you go to college for, you don't even do it when you get out. So find something that you want to do, something you like to do. A good trade. A good trade can get you where you need to be in life.
If you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to take financial classes so you can keep up with your money and get you some benefits. Work somewhere where you can have benefits. If you are not the entrepreneur that you want to be, until you get to that point, find you something to do where you can get benefits and have 401k or whatever the benefits are and insurance. Because we as Black people, a lot of us don't have insurance. And that's where we fall short with our health because of the insurance.
More than anything, the significance of receiving an education, traditional or otherwise, is not only important, but a clear symbol of being free.
How does education and freedom go together? I always say I'm from the South, granddaughter of a cleaning lady. I know without my grandmother having done what she did and pointed me in the direction of a good education and then made sure I had a way to get there, I don't think I'd be where I am. She didn't have me get an education so that I would be better. She had me get an education so that I could do better for others. And I got it. I have a responsibility to those that didn't, but then I need to sharpen my tools. I need to be prepared to serve when called upon. I need to motivate others to do something. And even if it's not a formal education, let my life be an example. So I did it for that reason. And the freedoms it had afforded me, nobody could ever take from me. Nobody.
Thank you for watching these stories inspired by the Juneteenth Storytelling Festival at Bruce Street. If you are interested in contributing to our effort to keep these stories alive, please support us by choosing to learn, volunteer, or give.